Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Longbox Chronicles Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at something a little bit different for this series. It's different because, this is only the second time this has ever happened. This is a movie that I have already seen, but it's been well over 20 years, and the only thing I remember is the closing song. Yeah, I fucking remember nothing else. I only remember that catchy closing song from it. That's probably a bad sign after roughly 20 years or so, and that's all I can fucking remember. Tonight's film is based on a Marvel Comics character. That Marvel Comics character is Howard the Duck. Now, I should mention, when I was very young, I was probably about 9 or so, so yeah, that actually is about 20 years. I remember actually kind of liking this movie. I didn't love it, but I thought that it was okay. I actually thought it was kind of, funny in a goofy, cheesy sort of way. I really don't know if this movie has aged well, but apparently every single time somebody happens to talk about movies which are just unspeakably bad, the biggest scapegoats are usually this and Batman and Robin. And since I'm able to find some joy in watching Batman and Robin, I might actually enjoy this one. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to find out though, because now I get to watch this thing. Get to watch it again. After 20 years, it's gonna be almost like the first time. I'm wondering exactly how stupid I was as a child, because if this thing really sucks, I'm gonna feel really guilty about actually enjoying it. I'm also gonna feel even guiltier about actually buying this thing when I found it in a fucking store somewhere. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Howard the Duck. So this gang of punks finds Howard, who's a 4-foot-tall talking duck, and they aren't creeped out by it at all. I'm going to tell you guys, if I actually were somewhere and I saw a 4-foot-tall, fully clothed talking duck, I would probably be creeped out to the point of speechlessness. Just kind of thought I'd toss it out there, just wanted to let you guys know. So Howard keeps an unwrapped condom in his wallet. That just seems a little bit unsafe, Wouldn't it be best to have it... never mind. I'm not even going to ask. But still, just seemed a little odd, I guess. Did I just hear him say that he can't swim? He's a fucking duck. You'd almost think that swimming would come natural to him. But, you know what? I guess I was wrong. So, I guess you learn something new every day. Sometimes ducks actually can't swim. Interesting. I'm gonna miss him a lot. He's been there, what, 2 days? If even? And you're gonna... What? Good God, man. I mean, I could maybe understand if he was there for like a week, maybe 2 weeks, but no. He's maybe been there 2 fucking days tops, and she's getting all sentimental about it. Seems a little odd to me, I guess. Now, this is the big reason why you do not allow people to drive shortly after they've survived a rather large explosion. But hey, at least the plus side is, the truck is stopped. Wow. And Jeffrey Jones is like one of the creepiest voices I've ever fucking heard. Wow. Okay. I never thought I would live to say this, but Jeffrey Jones is fucking badass, man. Wow. He really does make for a rather cool villain. So they've been driving all night in order to get back to this science lab. How fucking far away did they fucking drive in the one night in that little fucking like 80s S fucking like SUV that it takes all night to drive back in a semi? Just seems a little odd to me, I guess. Well, guys, I actually would just sort of like to mention this right now. The previous movie I did was Supergirl, well, I guess it was supposed to be a serious action film. This thing is a comedy, and it has better action sequences than Supergirl did. That actually is far, far more a knock at Supergirl than it is a knock on this. And I just sort of thought it would be worth mentioning, man. You know what I mean? Well, folks, that is Howard the Duck. And this song is still really catchy. Even 20 years later, this closing song is really fucking catchy in its own goofy sort of way. Okay, it's time to pop out the movie. Let's talk about this. Well, now, I stated this earlier, yes, I have seen this movie before, but, you know, god damn it, it was over 20 years ago, and I remembered pretty much nothing. And that still stood. I fucking remembered absolutely nothing from this movie besides that little song at, the end. And, the movie is still pretty good in its own sort of way. See, now, I know a lot of people have given this movie a ton of grief, and I don't really know why. Allow me to walk you through the positives and the negatives in terms of this film. First of all, the acting is really solid. In fact, every single role seems almost perfectly filled, and that is something that you don't often see. I mean, because we have Jeffrey Jones playing as the villain, and he plays it to the fucking extreme. We have Tim Robbins? Just gotta look on the back again. Yeah, it was Tim Robbins playing as a very punchable douchebag, which just to be totally honest, that actually isn't a whole lot of a stretch since we're talking about Tim fucking Robbins. But still, everybody actually is turning in a fantastic performance because those roles were perfect for them. I'd like to talk about the effects, because see. Well, first of all, naturally, this thing was going to have fantastic effects because all of the special effects were done by Industrial Light and Magic, which is, of course, Lucas's special effects house, and George Lucas was the executive producer on Howard the Duck. So naturally, everything looks fantastic, and that is everything from optical effects to stop motion to makeup effects to miniatures. All of it looks absolutely spectacular. So really, I can't even knock it there. And the biggest feat when it comes to showing off how well these effects are done is you just got to look at the title character, because Howard is, I believe, a dwarf. I guess would be the proper term if you want to be all like PC and shit. But he's played by a dwarf in a duck costume, and the head is completely animatronic, and it looks great. I mean, Bill really doesn't move a whole lot besides actually just your typical puppet movement, but it still works. In its own sort of way, it still works. God damn it! I am really trying to think if there are any if there's any negatives to this film. Well, I will say this: the writing is, for the most part, really sharp and really witty. However, there are moments when the writing just it just basically dives right into a shit pile. And that basically is just with a handful of really questionable choices and idiotic fucking dialogue. The writing could definitely have used a little bit of fine tuning. And also another problem, we are looking again at a movie that clocked in at almost 2 hours long, and there really are a lot of points where it could probably have been trimmed down a little bit. This thing actually could probably have clocked in at, I'd say, about 90 minutes, and it would probably have flowed a little bit better. So, yeah, this thing actually could easily have used about 20 minutes worth of, edits, and all of it is just basically to tighten up scenes. Because there actually are a few shots which just go a little bit too long, and there are just a couple of scenes which pretty much go nowhere. So just basically going and trimming down or completely cutting out those would probably have caused the film to flow a hell of a lot better. Music. Now here I have to talk about two things because this film is strong in both, and that is the soundtrack and the score. And some people don't know what the difference is. The score is usually all of the incidental music, which just plays during regular scenes. Basically it's basically your instrumental track is usually what the score is seen as, while the soundtrack is anything which is actually played in the fucking scene, usually either coming from a band or coming from a radio. That usually is the difference between soundtrack and score, and in this case both of them are very, very sound. The score is great. The score isn't, or no wait, actually no. The score isn't great. The score is good. And it could probably have been a little bit better, but it definitely works for the film. And the soundtrack, well, I guess I need to say I am a fan of corny, cheesy 80s rock, pop, and metal. And that pretty much is all that this thing is just corny, cheesy 80s pop rock. And it really just kind of appeals to me. So, In fact, this whole film completely and totally appeals to me because I am into campy, corny films. And, well, this thing is pretty much as goofy and as campy as you could get from a film from 1986. And really, it worked out great. I personally am kind of happy I spent the $6 on this thing when I bought it. I actually had to remember the amount. But anyway, yeah. Now, if you guys are willing to go into a film and know that it is a corny, cheesy action comedy, Howard the Duck is probably one of the best films you could ever find. This thing is just fantastic if you are looking for good, campy, corny fun. So yeah. I honestly, there is no way in hell I would be able to recommend this to everybody because I know that there are a lot of people who just flat out despise this movie, and I really do not know why. But anyway, at least I honestly am able to say that I happily recommend this. So yeah, so far, Longbox Chronicles Month is batting 500 because we've had one good film and one piece of total shit. The next one up, oh boy. Well, I'm just going to give you guys a hint. We're going back to DC Comics for the next one, and yeah, I don't know why in the hell they opted to make, fucking that movie either, but I'm going to save all the details on that until next time. So, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.